Between what is hoped for and what can be, there's a bridge. Between the aspirations of a ball club and the greatest sports venue in America, there's a bridge. Between chaos and wonder, endangered and protected, there's a bridge. Built on technology that can solve, create, heal, inspire, and secure. A bridge. There from the beginning to where we stand today, and where we will go from here. One company, one promise. If you can imagine it, we will build the bridge to get you there. Cisco. The bridge to possible.
There we go. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Great morning.
We're glad to see so many awesome faces. Welcome to the second annual Live History Museum hosted by the Cisco Connected Black Professionals, otherwise known as CBP. Awesome. So in celebration of Black History Month, we have a power-packed day for you all. And I'm so excited to have you join us today. I am Gabby Rogers, a business analyst.
And I'm Jordan Maness. I'm an engineer.
And we are tech professionals at Cisco. And we're also a part of the CBP group that I just mentioned. So this is a special group made up of Black engineers, marketers, business people, and more who help run the company and connect with bright minds just like you. So
awesome. I bet you're wondering what Cisco is. We build various technologies that basically make the internet work. So we build software, we build all kinds of hardware, electronic devices that help people connect across the globe. So in layman terms, we're literally the bridge to possible.
Yes, thank you, Jordan. Today, you will have a chance to meet Black inventors and Black trailblazers.
That's right.
How amazing is that?
That's awesome.
You will learn about STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, math, music, and through some fun activities. So I know you guys got your swag bags and your STEAM materials, so you'll have a chance to use all those things today and participate interactively. And there will even be prizes. So there's going to be quite a few of you that win prizes today. So have your eyes open, your ears open, ask some really great questions, and you might just get a prize.
Yep, and watch out. There's some good prizes. Let me tell you that. Before we get started, I do want to introduce everybody to someone very, very, very special and very, very important. Toby, if you can put up the slide. We're going to let you guys hear from Mr. Rene Daltrey. That's right, Mr. Rene Daltrey. Mr. Rene has worked for Cisco for over 25 years. That is a long time. That is 3 times as many years as some of you have been alive. So he's doing good work. He started in the community as an engineer at Cisco, and he's currently a manager overseeing engineering teams, not only in the United States, but also in India. And so with each project that he's working on, he manages about $10 million. That is a lot of money. Mr. Rene, or Coach Rene, has inspired hundreds of students like yourself to pursue higher education and consider careers in science, technology, engineering, art, music, and we can't forget the math, through an aggressive outreach effort that bridges students or brings students to Cisco's campus. He also is an entrepreneur. He founded a company called Asymmetry LLC, and it is a company that conducts Lego robotics curriculums for youth around the community. So I want you all to please give a warm welcome, and we want to see you clapping in your video feeds. We want to see you excited to hear from Mr. Rene Daltrey, otherwise known as Coach Rene.
Woohoo!
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, good morning. That is going to be a hard intro to follow. Yes, my name is Coach Rene Daltrey, and people ask me, especially the youth that I work with, what do you coach? Well, besides being a first Lego coach, I say I coach you to be the best that you can be in your mind and your spirit. And that's what we're all here to do today. So I'm going to share something with you that I think personally is very, very important. And we're going to go through, there's something I want to talk about, and we talk about inventors and scientists and all these wonderful people. But since this is a live history, I don't want to talk about the past. I don't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about African-American inventors of today. And I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I just want to kind of let you see some of the things that we're going to talk about. But first, just to get you set about networks. Networks have been around for thousands of years. And my elementary warriors, you're going to learn about history. You're going to learn about Roman times and American Indians and Africans in Africa. And just think about it. When they needed to send messages, they used either a runner or they used a bird, which was email, or American Indians sent smoke signals. Guess what? That was text messaging. And in Africa, they sent messages by way of a drum. That, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, was mobile phones. So just put in your spirit that technology and things have been around for years. But let's talk about today. Inventors today. Miss Marion Croak, this young lady, and I love to use the young lady, what you're experiencing right now in Google Meet Me and WebEx and Zoom and voice over the internet, this was the lady that actually worked on it, that actually was in part of contributed to the invention of voice over IP, an African-American woman living today. This young lady, we take pictures by way of our phone, digital photography, GIF files, JPEGs. Take a look. This young lady was involved in that as well, working with Adobe. So as you can see, people today, right today, still being involved in the creation of technology and moving this fourth industrial needle forward. I love this one, Miss Gladys Mae West. GPS. People, I'm quite sure your parents, when they're traveling, the first thing they do is get out their phone. If they don't have a map, we don't use maps anymore. Google Maps, and using all type of GPS devices to find our way and find our direction around wherever we're going, in our neighborhoods, around the world, different states. She had a hand in this. She contributed to the creation of the GPS global systems. So think about that. Again, living African-American scientists and mathematicians that are still here today and contributing. This young man, this gentleman is my favorite. I actually got to meet and speak with Mr. Mark Dean, and we still kind of collaborate every so often. He's been one of my mentors. He worked for IBM, was part of the team that created the modern day personal computer. Think about that. Not spoken about, not spoken about in our history, but here he is, and a living entity, still here today, doing all type of sessions, working with students, still doing some presentations, and still active in the community. Like I said, I was very, very fortunate to meet this young man. And my favorite, Mr. Lonnie Johnson, engineer and the inventor of the Super Soaker, the water guns, and Nerf devices. And what I really met him as well, and what I really appreciate about this man, is that he is part of the 100 Black Men of the USA, and I'm a member of that as well. He's also a first robotic coach and mentor, and very prominent in the Atlanta area and through the United States on exposing you, my young warriors, to STEM and science and math and fun and technology. So again, I wanted to share this with you to let you see you're going to meet and talk to some of the inventors of the past, but right in present day, we still have a lot of inventors, mathematicians, scientists who are here today and who are still moving this needle forward. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you for this quick introduction and this quick little presentation I was able to share with you. Something I want you to remember, and even though you are in elementary school, I want you to remember these words from Coach Renee Daughtry. I do not consider you the leaders of tomorrow. And I'm going to say that a second time. I don't consider you the leaders of tomorrow. I consider you the leaders of today. Leadership starts now. Get you in that leadership mindset, that leadership spirit into your being, because you're the ones who's going to take us forward. You're the one going to take our place, and you will make a positive influence on this planet. So ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, I thank you for your time. Please have fun today and enjoy your time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Can we get another big round of applause, a virtual one, for Coach Renee Daltrey.
Woohoo! That was amazing.
You know, one of the things I took away is that a lot of technologies and things that we see in the world today are built by people who are still living. That is awesome. So you have an opportunity every day to talk to these people, to see what they're doing, learn how they move around in the world so that you too can contribute great things to society. So what we're going to do now is go over some logistics for today, and we're going to hop into the museum. And Gabby, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Jordan, and thank you again, Coach Renee. I'm sure the students are taking away a lot from that. So your logistics for today, I know it's a lot of words on the screen, but I'm going to just give an overview so we are all clear about what we are going to accomplish today. First, we want to acknowledge who we have in the building. We have Southeast Raleigh Elementary in the building. So glad to have you guys. And we have Bugg Magnet Elementary. So thank you so much for joining us. Logistics for today. So next we are going to go into our museums where you will meet, once again, inventors from the past and some from the present, right? Mm-hmm. So your schools, your teachers already sent you your links that you will be joining once we give you the go-ahead, once we give you the green light. And so you'll go in those rooms and you will stay in those rooms for the next, what's 40 plus 40? For the next hour and a half. So then we'll come back and do the STEAM activities at 10:45, I believe, 10:45 or 10:50, but we will also let you know at the end of the session when we're going to move, so no worries there. While you're in the sessions, make sure you stay muted. Once again, if you have notes, take your notes, have your ears and your eyes open. Yeah. You're going to have time to ask questions, so ask amazing questions, and at the end, we'll have some fun games, a fun game. So if you ever heard of Kahoot, that's exactly what we're playing. And from there, we'll have some prize winners. So make sure once again that you're paying close attention to the museums, right? So you'll stay put. And then after the first set of inventors speak, the volunteers will switch and you will get to see the other half of the museum. So all students stay put in your links, then they'll switch. And then after that, we'll come back. We'll clear this up once again in the rooms. At times, we'll be taking pictures. So if you are not allowed to have pictures, please cut off your camera so that we can make sure we respect that, right? And ask your teacher if you have any questions. But most importantly, guys, today we want you to have so much fun. Yes. We're so excited to have you. We're so excited for all that you'll learn and all that you'll participate in. One more logistics thing, actually, like I mentioned earlier, you have your STEAM materials. So have your STEAM materials ready and make sure you have an adult around before we get into the STEAM activity. So we'll reiterate that once again. But I think we're ready to go, Jordan.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. So, all right, everybody, you should go to your first museum link and your teachers will help you get there. And again, keep your eyes peeled and your ears open because you're going to meet some cool people and you might even win a prize for participating. Right. We'll see you in the museum.
See you in the museum.
Humans have been fascinated with speed for ages. The history of human progress is one of ever-increasing velocity. And one of the most important achievements in this historical race was the breaking of the sound barrier. Not long after the first successful airplane flights, pilots were eager to push their planes to go faster and faster. But as they did so, increased turbulence and large forces on the plane prevented them from accelerating further. Some tried to circumvent the problem through risky dives, often with tragic results. Finally, in 1947, design improvements such as a movable horizontal stabilizer, the all-moving tail, allowed an American military pilot named Chuck Yeager to fly the Bell X-1 aircraft at 1,127 kilometers per hour, becoming the first person to break the sound barrier and travel faster than the speed of sound. The Bell.
Alrighty, that's what Dr. Christine wanted us to see today. So I will now hand it over to Dr. Christine Darden. Now, you guys, this is the time to go ahead and pin her video. Look for Christine Darden, and as she talks, it'll go to the top, so you'll be able to see it even better. Are you ready, Dr. Christine?
I am.
Take it away. We're going to hand it over to Dr. Christine.
Good morning, students. I am Christine Darden, mathematician and aerospace engineer. Now, before I tell you about myself, I want someone to tell me who that character is on the screen. And I know you can't unmute yourself, but I know you all know who it is. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic Hedgehog.
You can mute yourselves again. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have told you to tell me who they are because that would have confused you. I'm so sorry. However, Sonic the Hedgehog is known for running very, very fast, faster than the speed of light. That's called supersonic flight. And I'm famous for studying about supersonic flight and sonic boom. But long before I began my career with NASA, I was born in Monroe, North Carolina on September 10th, 1942. Now, later on, I'm going to test your math skills to see who knows how old I am today. My father was an insurance salesman, and my mother was a teacher. I would go to school with my mother and sit in the back of her classroom, and I became so smart that I was promoted to the second grade at age 5. Now, how many 5-year-old second graders do you know? As a child, I loved breaking apart and reconstructing objects like my bicycle. I even had a doll that talked, and instead of playing with the doll, I cut it open because I wanted to see what was making it talk. I also helped my dad work on his car and change the oil. And when the girls were playing inside, I was in the street, riding my bicycle and skating and racing with the boys. My favorite subjects throughout my entire school career were always science and math. I graduated from high school in 1958 as valedictorian, top of my high school class. And I even earned a scholarship to Hampton Institute, which is a historically black college, or HBCU, and it's now called Hampton University. My love for STEM didn't end there. After college graduation, I became a high school math teacher. I love math so much that I even married a math middle school teacher in 1963. I decided to continue my education by earning my master's degree in, you guessed it, math. And I became an instructor at Virginia State College, which is also an HBCU and is now called Virginia State University. But before I go any further, I need you to unpin my camera so I can share some very important pictures of me with you. In 1967, I was hired by NASA along with several other women to work as human computers. Our job was to perform calculations for the male engineers who didn't like doing the math. You might have heard of some of us called hidden figures, because not many people knew that Black women worked for NASA during those times in those very important positions. After working for a while as a human computer, performing time-consuming calculations by hand, I decided I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted a chance to do what the men did and give the orders instead of following them. So I worked hard and got promoted to aerospace engineer in 1973. Not long after that, I was appointed as the technical leader of NASA's Sonic Boom Group. This was important work for me because there were very few women who were engineers, and even fewer than that who were Black. I discovered I enjoyed engineering so much that I went on and got my PhD degree in engineering in 1983. During the rest of my time at NASA, I developed the Sonic Boom Research Program and even designed a computer program to simulate sonic boom. I worked with other scientists to decrease the negative effects of the sonic boom. And that same research is still being used today. My most important accomplishment at NASA is becoming the first Black woman to be promoted to top rank of senior executive at Langley Research Center. I retired from NASA in 2007, and a few years later, in 2019, I was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal by the United States Congress. Today, I'm still giving presentations to students like you and sharing my love for STEM. Now, you won't see me in the movie Hidden Figures because those ladies were about 15 to 20 years older than me. But I did know them, and I am grateful that they paved the way for me so I could pave the way for others. You can read more about me in the book Hidden Figures by Margaret Lee Shetterly. Now, before I get out of here, let's see how many of you correctly guessed my age. If you said I'm 78, you are correct. If you said 79, you're close. But remember, my birthday is until September. So the next time you play your Sonic the Hedgehog game, or when you hear the sound of a plane flying above in the sky, I want you to think of me, Dr. Christine Darden, and remember the work that I did to help quiet the noise of supersonic planes. Remember the pathway that I made for women to follow in my footsteps. And most of all, remember my love for math and science. And don't forget, like Mr. Daughtry said, I am living history. And now that you know about me, I won't be a hidden figure anymore as long as you go and tell 3 more people about my life. Thank you, students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Christine. Let's give Dr. Christine a virtual round of applause. Put some emojis in the chat. If you ask me, that was a fire presentation from Dr. Christine. So we'll move right along, you guys. And the next voice we're going to hear from is Lonnie Johnson. Now, if you paid attention to our keynote speaker, he mentioned Lonnie Johnson, and he actually knows him too. So before I hand it off to Lonnie, we have a poll for you guys. So remember to mute. But Ms. Winstead, can we put that poll in for them to answer?
Okay, it's live.
It's live?
Yes.
So where should they see the poll? In the chat? Or
I'm at the top.
At the top?
At the top, where the chat is, right to the right of the chat, they'll see a triangle, square, and circle. If you click on that.
Here we go. Yes. So we're answering poll question number 2, poll 2 out of 2. Which of these water toys is your favorite to use for summertime fun? Is it a slip and slide? Do you guys like the super soaker, the beach ball, or a pool floaty? Which one? Which one? Alrighty. Do we have? I'll be able to see the results. There we go. So, Aisha, do you see the results?
I do not. I still see the poll.
Okay.
Has it completed yet, Miss Lindstead?
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Very nice. So we have most votes for the Super Soaker. Very interesting. And then number 2 came in as Slip and Slide. I remember loving those. I can't quite do those anymore, but you guys enjoy them while you still can.
Yeah, so thank you guys for participating. And I don't know if some of you picked the Super Soaker for a special reason. We don't know, but glad to see that is your favorite toy. Now we'll hear from Lonnie. So go ahead and pin Mr. Lonnie Johnson's camera. Remember to pin really quick so you can see him and his outfit, and then he'll go ahead and share with us.
All right. Hi, my name is Lonnie. Who am I, you might ask? Well, I've invented and hold patents for some of the most exciting toys on the market, especially in the summertime. You know, come to think about it, summer really wouldn't be summer if someone wasn't playing with one of my inventions. Has anyone ever been playing outside on a hot summer day and decided to squirt someone with a high-pressure water gun, something that looked a little something like this? I'm glad the answer is yes. And I'm glad that the toy you held in your hands and happened to have so much fun with was actually invented by me, Lonnie Johnson. Now, the first model of my water gun didn't quite look like this, and I actually had to use some pipes and a soda bottle to craft my design for people to get the picture, but they got it, especially after I squirted them a few times with the water gun. Do you know that most people, they've heard of my designs or my invention of the water gun, but they don't know that I hold patents for another fun toy as well. You see, I took the design for my water gun, my super soaker, and I replaced it with a toy projectile, something that we call the Nerf dart. I was able to patent the whole design and basically say the concept was mine. After seeing the Nerf dart, I guess you kind of know what the toy I'm talking about is. If you guess that it's the Nerf gun, well, then you're correct. How does that rapper boy, what's his name? The little bitty baby say it? Whoa, right? So I'm honored that people know about my creation, about my toy market, but most people don't know that the toy that I'm most proud of, I actually didn't make any money off of. So students, if you can do me a favor, if you can unpin so you can see my images. I didn't just get to become famous, a famous toy inventor overnight. I started off just like you boys and girls. I was born in 1949 on October the 6th in Mobile, Alabama. And if you know anything about Alabama back in those days, you know they didn't treat people like me too well back then. But you know what? That didn't stop my curiosity from tinkering and building things. In fact, my father, who was a World War II vet, he was a real handyman, and he taught me and my brothers and sisters to build our own toys. And those were fun times when we were kids. You know, people used to ask me, hey, Lonnie, and I say, yes. When did you know you wanted to become an inventor? And my answer was simple. As far as I can remember, I always dreamed of becoming a famous inventor. I remember this one time when I was 13, I attached a lawnmower engine to a go-kart that I built from scraps in the junkyard. Man, I must have raced that go-kart all along the highway trying to see how fast I could go. But then I got pulled over by the police. So I knew the gig was up. I had to get off of it. But I still enjoyed building it. Now, my mother claimed that I tried to burn the house down, but I don't remember trying to burn the house down. I do remember trying to make rocket fuel out of one of her pots, though. And let's just say, boom, the top took off. Now, making jet fuel and go-karts were cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a blast, literally. But back when I was in high school in 1968, do you know I had my first major project, which I believe later propelled me into being the inventor I am today? That project was a fully remote controlled robot that took me almost a year to build. I took that robot to the Alabama High School State Fair where I won first place. And guess what? To make it even sweeter, I was the only African-American in the contest. After my high school experience, I decided to go to college where I attended Tuskegee University, and HBCU, by the way, on a full scholarship, and I earned a degree in mechanical engineering. And 2 years later, I got a master's degree from that same school in nuclear engineering. Now, when I was done with college, I decided to follow in my father's footsteps, so I enlisted and joined the U.S. Air Force. Now, I'm not supposed to tell you this next part because it's classified, but I know I can trust y'all. While I was in the Air Force, I worked on something called the stealth bomber, which was this massive plane that pretty much was invisible when it was in the air. I mean, although you could physically touch and see it, it had special technology that prevented it from showing up on systems that detected planes. The stealth bomber was cool, I have to admit, but it had nothing on when I went to work at NASA in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 1979. I made parts for rockets that will travel to Jupiter and Mars. And it was here at NASA that brings me back to where I created my invention, the Super Soaker. So you see, boys and girls, it started from where you are right now. The ideas and dreams that I had to create the next big thing, I started when I was your age. So dare to dream. Don't let anyone tell you you can't reach your goals and aspirations. I'm Lonnie Johnson, and thank you for your time.
Wow, 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 wow. That was such an interesting and amazing story, Mr. Johnson. I hope you guys learned a little bit, or a lot of it rather. He shared so much information. And I see you guys are active in the chat, trying to figure out how old he is. I saw some right answers. So yes, we are going to keep it moving and hear from our next inventor / trailblazer. So we are going to hear from May C. Jameson. So first we have a poll, another poll, and I think Miss Winstead is going to go ahead and put that. There we go. So we have a third poll, you guys. The term astronaut comes from the Greek words that mean space trailer. Is that, or excuse me, space sailor. Is that true or is that false? What do you guys think? Does it come from the Greek words that mean space sailor? So someone asked a quick question. Yes, Mr. Johnson was born in 1949. I saw the question in the chat, October 6th. But yes, let's go ahead and answer the poll, you guys, for Miss May Jameson, the term astronaut. Can we go ahead and take a look at the results?
Yeah, so it looks like most of us got it right. The answer is true. The term astronaut comes from the Greek word meaning space sailor.
Thank you, Aisha. Yes, you guys are super smart. That's an interesting fact, I would think, space sailor. Now we'll hand it off to May C. Jameson. May, are you out there?
Hi, everyone.
Really quick, you guys, go ahead and pin May on your screen so you can see her in her astronaut costume, and she'll let you know when to unpin. Take it away, May.
Hi, everyone. I'm May C. Jameson, to be exact. You may know me as the first African-American female astronaut, or maybe as the first African female in space. But maybe there's a few things you didn't quite know. As an early child, I had a love for space and astronomy. I spent countless hours reading in the library. I balanced my studies and my curiosity with a love for dance. I excelled in ballet, jazz, and African dance. But I knew I was destined to be a scientist. Along the way, though, there were a few doubters, but I still kept that dream alive. Most 16-year-olds get their driver's license and they're cruising around town. But I was doing something bigger. I started Stanford University. And although it was difficult being in college at such a young age, I persevered. I graduated with degrees in chemical engineering and in African and African-American studies. I also went on to earn my medical degree from Cornell Medical School. And guess what? I even got to dance steel at the Alvin Ailey Theater. After earning my medical degree, I spent a few years practicing before joining the Peace Corps. I spent time traveling in Liberia and Sierra Leone. But once I returned home to the United States, I knew it was time to follow my heart. I applied to NASA's training program twice before being accepted. I trained hard with the other students for over a year, and in 1992, it was finally time. I, May Jameson, was headed into space. Here's a fun fact. Although I dreamt of this moment, I am terrified of heights. Can you believe it? On September 12th of 1992, I became the first African-American woman to fly into space. I spent 8 days conducting experiments on motion sickness and weightlessness. Myself and 6 other astronauts, we worked in shifts, and I began each of my shifts with a line from a show I loved. It's probably a bit before your time, though. It was Star Trek. I would get on the radio, and I would let Mission Control know, hailing frequencies open, and they would know I was on the shift. In March of 1993, I resigned from NASA in hopes of becoming an entrepreneur, and that I did. Since then, I've worked with numerous charities. I've written a children's book, and I've started multiple science and technology companies. And guess what? I even appeared on a favorite show. You guessed it, Star Trek. By the way, I even have my own Lego. How many of your heroes can say that? At this time, you guys can unpin me, and we're going to review the slide a little bit. I'll give you a couple of seconds. All right, so before I go, there's a couple of cool links I want to be able to share with you guys. These things will also be in your take-home materials. The first link allows you guys to send your name into space on the next Mars rover. How cool is that? The second link, which we're going to show you now, will provide live views from the International Space Station as it orbits. Let's check that out. This is happening live, guys. Right above our heads in space. There's astronauts currently working on the International Space Station. Awesome. Our third and final link will allow you guys to sign up for alerts and see when the International Space Station will be visible from your home. You guys can go outside at night, look up in the sky, and it'll look like a super fast plane jetting by. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about me today. And remember, the best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. Bye, guys.
Wow.
Bye.
She was so inspirational. I learned a lot just now. Thank you, Ms. Jameson.
So inspirational.
Let's remember to mute. But thank you for sharing. If you do have comments, put them in the chat. Let's see some activity in the chat, you guys. Let's see how things are going. So last but not least, we're going to move on to Wendell Scott. This is a story about courage and perseverance. Before we do that, we have our last poll. So Ms. Winstead, do we have the poll up and ready? All right, so we have our last poll. This is about NASCAR. The question is, does every winner of the NASCAR Cup win an award, trophy, and proper recognition? Do you think the answer is yes, or is the answer no? So let's get a few answers in. Let's get them rolling in, you guys. What do you think? All righty, let's take a look at those results.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Wait, is this going to be seen on TV? Because it says it's being recorded.
This will not be seen on TV. Do me a favor.
I'm too nervous to be on TV.
Okay. Any questions you guys have, go ahead and put in the chat. We'll address them in the chat for you guys. We have a couple volunteers on standby just for that. But thanks for asking. That's a great question. Do we have results in, you guys?
It looks that way. So, does every winner of a NASCAR Cup win a trophy and proper recognition? The answer is actually no.
No, only one gets one.
So the question is stating, if you won, are you told that you won? Do you get a trophy if you were the first place winner? And the answer is no, not always. And the next person that will present will talk a bit more about that.
Yes.
Okay, I think I get it now.
So let me make sure I pronounce your name right. Is it DeCavius?
It's DeCavius.
DeCavius? I love your interactions, DeCavius. Can you do me a favor and put your questions in the comments in the chat for me, please?
I don't remember. Wait, I can't think of the question.
Oh, no worries. Just just stay on mute, and then if you think of the question, we'll come back to it, but in the chat, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, DeCavius. So, last but not least, we have Wendell Scott. So go ahead and pin Wendell Scott for me, guys, and I'll hand it off to Wendell.
So good morning, boys and girls. I am Wendell Scott. I have children just like you all, and my children attend elementary school as well. I am the first Black man to win a NASCAR race. I was born in 1921, served in World War II as a mechanic, and I had an inspiration to race. I love to drive fast cars. I learned to build cars on my own. And I had my actual first NASCAR race in 1954. And to this day, I am the only Black man to actually race and compete at the NASCAR level. I came up during a time when your teachers may have shared with you a period called Jim Crow. In the Jim Crow era, Blacks were not allowed to do certain things. We couldn't drink from certain water fountains. We couldn't go to certain restaurants. We couldn't stay in certain hotels.
That's very unfair.
Yeah, it was unfair. And so my children and I and my wife, we traveled all throughout the South because I loved racing. One of the things I always tell my children is we do not believe in can't, and we never say never. So one thing I want to leave you with is always strive for your dreams. If you have something that you want to achieve in life, you keep working for it. You surround yourself with people that will encourage you, and you do not accept the word can't. I was a mechanical engineer. We talked about STEAM at the beginning of the presentation. I was a mechanical engineer, a self-taught mechanical engineer, because I could build cars, I could work on cars and do all of that. I did race for many years. I did suffer a very bad accident in 1973 at Talladega, which is one of the major speedways. If you've ever watched racing on the weekends, you know Talladega is a major raceway. And so I suffered a 21-car pileup, almost died in that race. But after time, I did recover, and I continued to work repairing vehicles and being an auto mechanic, but I was never able to race again. In 2015, I was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I am the only African-American Black man in the Hall of Fame. It is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have an exhibit there. So if you ever have an opportunity, please come by and see my exhibit at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina. In 2017, my car and my story was depicted in the Disney Pixar movie Cars 3.
I watched it.
There's a picture of me there. My car is titled River Scott, and it tells the story of my life and my perseverance. So what I want to leave you with is I decided it was something I wanted to do in life. I worked very, very hard at it, and I not accept can't as an option. So continue to strive for your dreams. You have greatness all within you. And at this time, I'd like to share just a brief video clip.
Yes, so thank you, Wendell. Please unpin Wendell right now so we can view the video that he has for us. Everybody see the video? Quickly unpin. Alrighty, we'll get started.
He started racing in 1952, and you know, it was like Picasso, like a great artist doing his work. He was in that car, he was doing his work. But you know, he couldn't get the support where other drivers that we were competing against had major sponsorship. He did everything that he did out of his own pocket. And as children, we didn't have that leisure time. You know, we couldn't go to the playground. He said to us, I need you in the garage. I can remember him getting injured, and he just take axle grease and put it in the cut and keep working. But he wasn't allowed to race.
Okay, I'm seeing feedback that there's an echo, so let me handle that right now.
Can we make sure everyone's muted as well, please?
At certain speedways, he had death threats not to come to Atlanta. And they had to say, look, if I leave in a pine box, that's what I got to do, but I'm going to race. I can remember him racing in Jacksonville, and he beat them all, but they wouldn't drop the checkered flag. And then when they did drop the checkered flag, they had my father in third place. One of the main reasons they gave was there was a white beauty queen, and they always kissed the driver. He finally got the money. But, of course, the trophy was gone. The fans were gone. The beauty queens were gone.
Did he ever consider not racing anymore?
Never. That was one of my daddy's saying. When it's too tough, everybody else is just right for me. Like I can remember one time when we were racing Atlanta 500, and he was sick. He needed an operation. And I said, Daddy, we don't have to race today. He whispered to me and said, lift my legs up and put me in the car. He drove 500 miles a day. He always felt like someday he's going to get his big break. But for 20 years, nobody mentioned Wendell Scott. But he didn't let it drive him crazy. I think that's what made him so great. He chose to be a race car driver, and he was going to race until he couldn't race no more.
All right. Anything else for us, Mr. Scott?
What I would share with the kids again is if you have an opportunity, please do visit NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, to see our display. And also, I'm sure you've seen the Cars 3 movie. If you haven't, please, check that out, rent it, or if you can, and say hello to the River Scott character. I'll see you in the theater.
Yes, thank you so much. How cool is that you can see his car in the Cars movie? I'm sure many of you have seen that movie already, but now you'll be looking out for Wendell or for River Scott, like it says right there. So we are going to wrap things up, you guys. I just wanted to thank all of our volunteers. So of course, they've portrayed these inventors, but I'm just going to acknowledge who actually spoke today. So as Christine Darden, we have India Williams. So let's give it a virtual round of applause for Miss India Williams. And I'll just pull up the slides as we're thanking them. So let me do that really quick. So yes, we have
Sanic.
Then for Lonnie Johnson, we have Mr. Jonathan Mack. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much. I see claps in the chat. That's what I like. Let's be in the chat, you guys. We have Margaret, Miss Margaret. Let me get the last name correct. So we have Miss Margaret Baxter. That's what I thought. Yes, thank you so much, Miss Margaret Baxter, who played May C. Jameson. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's give her a virtual round of applause. So in the chat, let's keep ourselves muted, you guys. And then lastly, we have, as Wendell Scott, we had Danya Jackson. So fun fact, Danya Jackson is actually the granddaughter of Wendell Scott. So today she portrayed her grandfather, and the voice that you heard in the video was her father, so Wendell Scott's son. So we have lineage represented today, and they have a family foundation. That's the family foundation gear that she has on to represent her grandfather. And it's amazing that she's able to keep this legacy alive. So let's give Miss Danya a round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So we did run over today, you guys. So we are going to move straight into the next part of the museum. So at this time, our volunteers are going to switch rooms, and we're just going to give them a few minutes to switch rooms and get settled. And then we'll get started with part A of the museum. So let's just take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll come back for part A. All righty, I saw some of y'all were jamming out to the music. I saw some of these TikTok moves and everything. Y'all must have liked that. You did a great job, it looks like, with the intro music. So I'm glad you're enjoying yourselves. All right, so we're done with our 5-minute break, and guess what? We have our other inventors. So we are going to get right into it. So just a reminder, once again, let's pay close attention, you guys. And this is how you pin and unpin. So you'll hear me say when to pin your inventor, and then your inventor will tell you when they want to be unpinned. So just in case we need to be reminded, when you go to the name on the participants list, click the vertical 3 dots. It'll bring up an option to pin to screen. That's exactly what you want to click. If it is on their picture because they'll be talking, then this will be the pin icon that you want to click. And then when they want to be unpinned, you click those same buttons. So this will change to say unpinned, and this will change to say unpinned. So remember to pay close attention, guys, so you get the full experience, okay? So we're moving right along, and the first inventor we are hearing from is Sarah Boone. Are you out there, Sarah?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you, Gabby.
Let's go ahead and pin Miss Sarah Boone, you guys.
All right. While you all are pinning me to your screen, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a few of my items that I brought to show you all. So my name is Sarah Boone, and I was born in February 1832. And I am known as a dressmaker, and this is one of my lovely gowns. And I'm also known for one of my improvements I made to a very famous device. So I want to ask you all first, before I share what my invention was and what I contributed to history, I want to ask you if you know what a patent is. So there's going to be a poll that will be launched, and I want you all to go in and answer that poll question and let me know what a patent is. Is a poll a type of pancake? Is it intellectual property? Is it a car company? Or is it something that you use, a tent that's used for camping? So I'll give it some time for you all to answer that question. And then I have someone on the call. I think it's Aisha that will go ahead and let us know what you all are responding and what the main answer was.
Wow, you guys are so smart. It looks like most of us selected intellectual property. Very good job.
Wow, that is absolutely right. So a patent is a form of intellectual property. So that is something that gives the owner, in this case, that's me, Sarah Boone, I have the legal right to keep anybody else from using or making or trying to sell my invention for a limited number of years. So if you can unpin me, I will go ahead and take you all through my story, and you can see the information that is on the slide when you unpin me from your screen. So I was actually born as Sarah Marshall in Craven County, North Carolina in February. So it's my birthday month I'm celebrating. And I know all of you are in North Carolina, so we might just be neighbors. Great to meet all of you today. So when I was 15 years old in 1847, on the next slide, you'll get to see the dresses that I got to make when me and my husband, we decided to move to New Haven, Connecticut. If you could move to the next slide. And we moved there. That was before the Civil War began. And we wanted to just have a better life for when we decided to make a family. During those years, that's when I really became a dressmaker. And my husband, he was working as a brick mason. And over the years, I found out that there might be a better way for us to start ironing these dresses. So if you can see, there's lots of creases that we have to put on our nice garments. And doing the sleeves, honestly, was quite hard. So I thought I had a better idea. And on July 23rd in 1981, I put out my application for the ironing board. And it took months. It took months, I tell you, for them to actually give me my patent. But it was published on April 26th in 1892. And that's when I was really able to put my invention out there to use in the sleeves. So if you see on that last picture over to the right, that's the invention that we would stick in our sleeves and we would use to make these nice folds and really detailed creases. I wanted to produce something that was cheap and simple, but very convenient and highly effective device, particularly adaptable and used in ironing sleeves on the bodies of ladies' garments. Throughout my life, I've had 8 children, and I've remained in New Haven, Connecticut all this time, and I have my invention that's out there to the world. And I know a lot of you today may use ironing board that's something, you know, similar to this. And that's all right that you may not use my invention particularly today, but if you go into a tailor shop and they're doing something quite nice for you, I bet you they have one of my inventions because it's what you need to make the crease. Just keep that in mind. So it was so great meeting all of you students. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember, I'm Sarah Boone, North Carolina, born and raised, and I made that improvement to the ironing board. Thank you again, and thanks for participating. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat too. And I think I'm passing it back over to Miss Gabby.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. Who knew that one of the items that we use or that our parents use almost every day, a Black person made an improvement to that item. We love to see it, love to see it. So let's give Miss Sarah Boone some virtual hand claps in the chat, you guys. And if you have any questions, it looks like, Miss Winstead, it looks like the chat isn't available. Are we able to fix that so we can get engagement still? And while she's fixing that, thank you guys. Oh yes, the chat is back on. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in there. And once we have time, we'll address those questions. Clap, clap, clap.
Oh, I'm seeing all the applause. Thank you so much, students.
Yes, we had someone just said copyright question mark. So did you talk about copywriting?
Oh, that is a great question. So I didn't talk about copywriting. So there is my patent here. So it's lasted for a limited number of years, which has already passed. So technically it's still available for someone to come out and try to put out a different one. But my family has something that they've continued to manage in my name. So there is this picture that you see here. You can Google it. And I believe there's actually one in your patent where you can, or in your packet, a coloring book where you guys can find some more information about what a patent is and how to find out more about Sarah's Boone history and how long that lasted. But that's a great question. It's a little different from where we are today.
Yeah, that was a really great question. So thank you guys. We're gonna move right along to our next inventor / trailblazer. And so next we'll be meeting Benjamin Banneker. So before we do that, we have another poll for you guys. Can we get that poll up, Ms. Winstead? It's coming up, it's coming up. Alrighty, so you should have your next poll. This is a question for you. Which career would you prefer to do for a living? Would you want to be an astronomer, a civil engineer, a computer scientist, or a mathematician? Which career? Which career? What are you guys thinking? We'll give it a few moments. We want to hear from you guys. I did see a question. Can anyone live from 1832 to 2021? I would say no. You know, I would say no. Sarah Boone is not with us today, but she is still amazing in her time. All right. What are the results? What results do we have, Aisha?
So it's spread pretty well across. We've got a couple astronomers, we've got a couple engineers, a few mathematicians, but it looks like the majority is selecting computer science.
Wow.
So we may see a couple of them here at Cisco one day.
One day, I was about to say, y'all gonna be where the money resides, okay? One of the scientists, they are in hot demand. But thank you for participating. We're gonna move right along. Let's go ahead and pin Mr. Benjamin Bennett. Benjamin, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you. Go ahead and take it away, Mr. Banneker.
Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. My name is Benjamin Banneker, and today I'm going to tell you why I'm so fly. First things first, I was born November 9th, 1731 in beautiful Baltimore County, Maryland. It's there where my family actually owns a 100-acre tobacco farm where I spent most of my life farming. I'm proud to say my education doesn't come from any fancy school, but rather myself. That's right, you're looking at a self-taught genius. Most of my education was borrowed through books and literature from friends, family, and neighbors. Speaking of borrowing, I believe when I was about 21 or 22 years old, I actually borrowed a pocket watch from a friend. I not only took apart the pocket watch to see how it worked, but I also was able to put it back together. And that got me to thinking, I can do that if not better. So I actually built the first American clock using wooden pieces. And that clock, not to brag, was so amazing that it actually worked for over 40 years. During my travels, I learned a lot about astronomy, mathematics, and science, which led me to being able to predict the solar eclipse of 1789. And for those of you who don't know what a solar eclipse is, it's when the Earth actually gets to shadow up the moon when it's blocked by the sun. So it's a beautiful sight, and I was able to predict it when other professionals at that time couldn't. But I don't want you to think I was just interested in changing science or math. I also wanted to change people. In 1791, I wrote a letter to a guy you may know by the name of Thomas Jefferson. You see, at that time, the Bill of Rights was passed, and the Bill of Rights granted civil liberties to individuals such as freedom of speech, freedom of press. But I'm thinking to myself, if that's the case, why does he still have slaves? Why is there still slavery? So I sent a letter addressing that and also proving to him that African Americans are intellectual and we can make change. So I sent him a copy of my almanac, which, if you don't know, I wrote a series of almanacs based on biology, literature, science, mathematics, just to prove to him that, I'm pretty hot stuff. So he was impressed and responded, his gratitude to me. Okay, students, if you can at this moment, unpin me from your camera so you can see the activity I want to share with you guys. Okay. So for any astronomers out there, if you look at the night sky, you'll see stars arranged in patterns called constellations. So what we have here is an activity that requires just black paper or cardboard, chalk or a white crayon, toothpicks, and most importantly, marshmallows, which are one of my favorite snacks. So what I did was I created two constellations from the sky, the Big Dipper and Orion the Hunter. So this is a great activity, and also with it being so cold out, you can also use these as an addition to your hot chocolate. So before I do leave, I want to leave you guys with this quote. Do not wait for greatness, take it. You are the author of your legacy. I want to thank you guys for your time. And again, I'm Benjamin Banneker. Have a great day.
Wow, let's give Mr. Banneker a virtual round of applause. So in the chat, on mute, thank you. Claps 40 times in a row. Wow, you had a lot of fun. And I love that quote too at the end. Can you say it one more time, Mr. Benjamin?
Absolutely. Do not wait for greatness. Take it. You are the author of your legacy.
Wow. Do not wait for greatness, you guys. Remember that. You're already great. Don't wait to be great. Thank you, Mr. Banneker. And we would love for you guys to try out his marshmallow constellations. You can do that right at home. Moving right along to the next inventor for you guys to meet, we have Madam C.J. Walker. So we have a quick poll, of course, before we meet Miss Madam C.J. Walker. And the poll is, oh, this is an interesting one. Who is the richest Black woman in the world? Is it Rihanna? Is it Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, or Michelle Obama? What do you guys think?
Michelle Obama. Madame C.J. Walker.
Ooh, one thing, you guys. Let's make sure we're still on mute. And you can answer in the polls.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Make sure to stay on mute, you guys. We love that you're really engaged. We just want to make sure everyone has a great experience. So who do you think is the richest Black woman in the world right now? The answers are rolling in. Alrighty, what are the results that we have?
So it looks like many of us thought Michelle Obama, and while she is a queen, okay, she is not the richest Black woman in the world. The richest would be Oprah Winfrey.
Yes, so whoever got that right, congratulations. And we're about to hear about another really rich woman, okay? She's one of my personal inspirations, I would say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gabby. Just thank you so much. I just appreciate all the love. Well, good morning, y'all. My name is Madam C.J. Walker, and I'm here recruiting for sales agents. Why should you work for me?
1 second, Ms. Walker.
Well, that's
Let's make sure the students pin
yes.
Yes, let's make sure the students pin you first before you get into your spiel. Yes. Students, you see Ms. Madam Walker, go ahead and pin her, and then she will take it away. So go ahead.
Perfect.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, while you're pinning me, I can tell you about my humble beginnings and why you should work for me. And it's relatively simple. Don't you want to be, like Miss Gabby say, where the money reside, where the money reside. But seriously, by selling my products, you'll be on the road to self-employment and becoming your own boss. Who doesn't want to work for themselves? Why should you trust me? Well, that's simple. I really had humble beginnings in Mississippi. And after my first husband passed, I moved my little one, my little daughter, and myself to St. Louis up in Missouri. You know, as a single mom, I had to do whatever it takes to really provide for my child. So I started working as a wash maid, laundering clothes for rich women. And as I started this new profession, I noticed my hair was falling out. It was thin. I had dandruff everywhere. It was a hot mess, as I would say today. So I noticed a woman selling her great wonderful hair grower products named Miss Annie Malone, and I was simply amazed. I wanted to learn more and do whatever it takes to get more of her product. We started working over the years together, and over time, we split ways, and I decided to go in business for myself. It didn't matter that she already did it. I knew I could create a better product. And that's where I got the idea to create a better product to sell across the nation and even around the world. I'm a firm believer that don't sit down and wait for opportunities to come. Just make them your own, right? Just make them their own. Did you know every year I donate $10,000 to education of young men and women across the South and colleges and universities? I love giving back. I love my community, and I'm an activist, as y'all would call it. Okay, students, go ahead and do me a favor and unpin my camera so you can see some of the photographs of me and my current sales agents. And we're all sitting in my luxury car. I have one of 4. Bet you didn't know how much cars cost back then. Well, as you can see, I also have my current ad in the paper as I'm recruiting across the nation, and Central America, and even in the Caribbean. With all this success, it led me to become the first female millionaire in the United States in the early 1900s. So now let me ask you a question. Are you ready to change your life? Are you ready to become your own boss? Are you ready to have your own business and possibly become rich and famous? Well, I encourage you to think of things outside the box and try something different. I even let you go home with my recipe so you can make your own skin product and hair product. So I encourage you to have fun and get those business ideas going. I want to see you in your millions one day. So at this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about me and my millions and that woman named Oprah. I have to get some notes and maybe invite her for tea.
Okay.
In the chat, you guys, if you have questions in the chat, let's see your questions. Let's see. Oh, someone said that Madam C.J. Walker is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Did you make beard oil?
Ooh, that's a good question. I should have brought my oils down. Well, Madam C.J. Walker back then, I did shampoo, conditioners, you know, your magical hair care products and your hair grower. But oils were always down the line. That's something a little newer. Back in the day, it was really, really, really good to have something a little bit more solidified. But I like the oils idea. I'm gonna have to jot that down.
Yeah, that was a great question. And we'll, if you have more questions, put them in the chat. We'll do one more and then we'll move on if you guys have any. Can we get the hair recipe? So there isn't a hair recipe, but there is the organic lotion recipe. Did you want to reiterate that?
Well, a little secret. Organic lotion and hair, the products are safe for both. So I have a lot of shea butter, vitamin E, and argan oil and lavender for the smell. And you can really use it on your skin and your hair.
Yes. Another great question. So we'll be sending you guys that recipe actually. She sent it over to us. So you'll be able to make your own. Thank you so much, Madam C.J. Walker. We're going to move right along to our last inventor for part A of the museum. Before we do that, of course, we have another poll. So can we get that last poll in there? Yes. Have you ever wondered how traffic lights work? Do you know what year they were invented? So was it 1961? Was it 1923, 1897, or 1945? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's see if you can, oh, is the answer on here? No, it's not on here. Okay, good. I'm just making sure we're not giving it away. All righty. The results are coming in. Do we have the results up?
Yes. I'm not sure I even know the answer to this, so I may need some help. But I see that most selected 1923, and 1897 is close behind in the votes. So
all right.
Maybe Garrett Morgan can let us know with his presentation.
Yeah, I think he'll let us know. Garrett, are you out there?
I am. Are you all able to hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can. We can hear you. And I believe we, I don't think we can see you. Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Good. So go ahead and pin Garrett Morgan, everyone, and he will let us know about his invention.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Garrett Morgan, and I was told that each of you want to be an inventor. So if you all could unpin me now. In terms of innovation, I grew up as a very curious child. And it's that curiosity that always led me to ask the question, what if? And it's these questions that spawn what I would call my engine of ingenuity. So my story starts in Paris, Kentucky on March 4th, 1877. I am the proud son of Mr. Sidney Morgan and Miss Elizabeth Reed, who were born as slaves. From that time, I always spent time tinkering, asking what if, how could I make a difference? What could I do to basically allow myself to just satisfy my curiosity? So as I continue to do things, I found my way through life towards Cleveland, Ohio, where I started making my first mark at the age of 30. In 1906 is where I working during, I worked in manufacturing and textiles. And what I noticed that all the sewing machines would keep breaking down and I always have issues. And so my first patent was to work and make the sewing machine work better by using a belt fastening system that would allow it to be more dependable and to have less breakdown time, creating more productivity. So from that, at the age of 34 in 1910, I noticed that the sewing needles functioned better when they were properly polished. And as a result of that, the commercial polish on the sewing needle actually would straighten hair. And so what I decided to do was turn that polish, into a cream and create basically the Garrett Morgan Hair Refining Company and a hair cream that would allow your hair to be straightened, as well as the invention of the hot comb. Moving forward to my next invention, which has been a life changer, at the age of 36 in 1912, I wrote the patent for the smoke hood, or what's known now as the gas mask. And in 1912, as a Black male, no one actually trusted my device until in 1916, we had workers that were drilling for fresh water tunnels under Lake Erie hit a gas pocket and create a huge explosion. In that explosion, multiple people were suffocating because of the gas and all the dirt and things in the air. Well, one of the folks remembered that I had created a gas mask, and they reached out to me. My brother and I suited up, and the result of that is that we were able to save a lot of lives because our gas mask actually gave us oxygen as we were walking through the tunnels. So moving forward in my last invention, which will answer your questions, because I know you guys want to get them answered. At 47 years old in 1923, I wrote the patent for the first stoplight. Now, as one of few people with an automobile in Cleveland, Ohio, my motivation was seeing a really bad car accident because the two-way mechanical stoplight only had stop and go. So there was nothing that buffered or gave you enough time or to be able to stop. And so what I wanted to do was create something that not only was practical, but saved lives. And so my stoplight not only gave stop and go in two directions, it also gave a four-way stop signal for pedestrians, and also signaled to created the concept of buffering and created what's known as the yellow light. And that's what makes my stoplight different from the original stoplight. And this stoplight was bought by General Electric in 1923 for $40,000, which at that time allowed me to really stack my paper. So in that scenario, in closing, I'd like to share that there are two things I would like to leave you with. The first is know that how you do anything is how you will do everything. And I'll repeat it again. Know that how you do anything is how you will do everything. And lastly, what is that what if question that will spawn your engine of ingenuity? Thank you. I'm Garrett Morgan.
All right, it's time now to connect the dots. And this morning, we're talking about traffic safety as we celebrate Black History Month and highlight the achievements of African Americans that impact our daily lives. Jerry Carnes connects an African American's contribution to traffic safety to sewing machines.
He was one of the greatest inventors of his time. Garrett Morgan was born in 1877, the son of a former slave. In honor of Black History Month, let's explore how Morgan connected the sewing machine to traffic safety. As a young man, Morgan worked at several sewing machine factories where he learned how to fix broken machines. Eventually, he opened his own business and invented a belt fastener that improved the efficiency of the sewing machine. That and other inventions made him a wealthy man. Morgan was the first African American in Cleveland to own a car. In 1923, after witnessing an accident, he decided traffic signals needed more than a green and red light. It was Garrett Morgan who came up with a traffic signal that included a yellow light to warn drivers that go was about to become stop. Morgan sold the rights to his invention to General Electric for $40,000.
All right, so let's give a virtual round of applause to Mr. Garrett Morgan and his awesome invention. He invented so much, you guys. And remember his what if question to you. Yes, virtual class, virtual class. We did have one question I thought was interesting. Do traffic lights detect motion?
Current traffic lights do detect motion. If you need to see an example, there were times when people would run through yellow lights and basically run red lights, and you would see a flash. That flash was a camera which caught the motion, right? Another example is if you drive on 540, it's a toll road, right? So how do we know which car actually crossed the toll and who's going to get charged?
Oh, they have like a camera on it.
Absolutely, right? But that camera basically flashes on motion, and the camera itself takes a picture of the license plate. So you have a trigger and you have a response.
Yes, that was such a great question. And thank you for sharing that, Mr. Garrett. So before we head out of here, we want to play a game with you guys. Who has ever played Kahoot? Let me get this screen ready. So we're going to play Kahoot, and just I'll give you the instructions, and just remember a few things before we get started. So you're going to go to kahoot.it. So either take your phone out or go to another tab on your computer to kahoot.it. You have a game pen to enter. When we get there, enter your first name and your last initial, because remember, we're going to have a prize winner. So we need to know your actual name, you guys. And then you'll be able to choose the answer choices. So you'll need to choose it correctly and as quickly as possible. There's a time limit, and remember at the end, the winner gets a prize. So we'll go ahead and start with the Kahoot. So the game pen is loading. Go to kahoot.it, or if you have the app, go ahead and click on the app. The pin is 3603835. So we'll be seeing if you guys paid attention. So go ahead and pull out your phones, pull out your computer tabs. Remember to put your first name and your last initial so we know who to give the prize to. All righty, you guys are rolling in. Looks like we're excited to play the game. Keep coming.
What's
keep coming.
the prize?
The prize is a secret, but we'll tell you at the end about what you could be getting, because there's multiple things. All righty, let's roll in, you guys.
Can you link it in the chat?
Can I put the link in the chat?
Yes, because it's not showing up.
Yes. So go to www.kahoot.it. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for asking. And the code is 3603855. There you go. Thank you, Sarah Boone. So we're going to count down. If you're not in, you guys, hurry up and get in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to get started. So 3, 2, and 1. Question 1. How much money did Madam C.J. Walker spend every year to educate other young women and men? Ooh, you had to be paying really close attention. Is it $100, $10,000, $100,000, or $70,000? That's a lot of money, you guys. Get your answers rolling in. Let's see. All right. It looks like most of you got it right. Congratulations. She did spend $10,000 every year to educate other young women and men. Let's see who won that. Uh-oh. Elizabeth G's taking the lead on the first question. Let's see about the next question. Sarah Boone moved from North Carolina to, this was in the pitch. This was in her slide. Were you paying attention? Was it California? Was it Florida, New York, or Connecticut? Which one? Alrighty. Yes, looks like a lot of you were paying attention. It was, in fact, Connecticut. So let's see who's taking the lead on this one. Uh-oh. Elizabeth G's taking first place again, but 7D is in second place. So they might catch up with the lead. Alrighty, next question. Benjamin Banneker borrowed what from his friend, leading him to build the first wooden clock? This is important detail, you guys. Is it the pocket watch, a phone, a clock, or money? Which one was it? So I'm loving, most of you guys are getting these right. That is so amazing. Yes, it was the pocket watch. What a cool fact. Who would have thought a pocket watch would be leading into the first wooden clock? I think that's pretty cool. So who? Oh, Elizabeth G. She's on it. She's on it. 7D is right behind you, Elizabeth. Let's tap the answers faster, you guys. That's how you get more points. Alrighty, next question. What other invention outside of the stoplight did Garrett Morgan create? Uh-oh. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Did he say the hot phone? Oh, looks like most of you got this right. And Garrett, I have a quick question. You also invented the hot comb. Is that not correct?
I did, right? Hey, when my cream, I do got it on the book. So, Madam C.J. Walker, peace and blessings.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So and only one person picked that, so they were paying really close attention. But this is both the hot comb and the gas mask, and it looks like most of you got that right. So let's see. Oh, Elizabeth G. All right. Looking good, looking good. Let's catch up. And it says, we have a streak of 3 for some people. We'll go to the next question. Which inventor patented an improvement to the device in this photo? You guys should get this one. You guys should get this one. What do you think? Is it Mae Jamison, Garrett Morgan, Sarah Boone, or Madam C.J. Walker? Five, four, three. Oh, y'all finished before the time. Yes, it was Sarah Boone. And if you remember, she actually put the ironing board in her camera. So thank you, Miss Sarah Boone. And let's see who has the lead. Elizabeth G in the lead and Deshaun N in second place. Uh-oh. We might have a second place prize. You never know. Question number 6. Who had the most inventions? Was it Garrett Morgan, Sarah Boone, Madam C.J. Walker or Benjamin Banneker? Who had the most inventions? That was my jam. Yes, it was Garrett Morgan. He had a full slide of inventions, okay? That could be you too. But very close, you guys, very close. Let's see. All right, so Elizabeth G once again in the lead, but Anthony this time in second place. So we'll see. This is the last question. Get your fingers ready, get your phones and your laptops ready. True or false? Benjamin Banneker wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson in 1791. Ooh, you really have to be paying attention this time, guys.
Dancing, dancing,
Yes, that was true. Most of you guys are paying attention. Congrats, congrats. All righty, let's see. In third place, Justin M. In second place, Anthony. And in first place, Elizabeth G. Let's give Elizabeth a round of applause. You got a virtual round of applause. Virtual in the chat. In the chat. So we will be reaching out to Ms. Winstead for your prize, Elizabeth G. And Anthony will also reach out for a second place prize. So congrats, congrats. Thank you guys for participating. Now we will go ahead and close us out. You guys have been doing an awesome job. I really love all the engagement. So at this time, we want to wrap up by thanking our inventors. So let's first thank the volunteer that played, Sarah Boone. Her real name is Patty Kamara. So let's do a virtual round of applause and put some emojis and everything in the chat for Patty. Let's give a hand clap for Miss Patty.
Thanks, everybody. It was so great.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Next, we're going to give a virtual hand clap for Christian, Mr. Christian Day, for playing Benjamin Banneker. So let's all give a virtual round of applause for Mr. Christian.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.
Why he look like Odell?
All righty, let's stay on chat. We're almost done. All right, so next we're going to thank the lovely Crystal for playing Madam C.J. Walker. So let's give Miss Crystal Wright a round of applause virtually.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be looking out for everybody's business.
All right. All righty. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Maurice Spencer, who played Garrett Morgan. Let's give him a round of applause virtually. Virtual round of applause. You guys are awesome. So yes, that wraps up the part A for the museum, and that wraps up the entire museum. Let me get to the right slide here. So we're going to, okay, I'm just going to stop sharing. That's a lot of slides, you guys. We're going to move on to the STEAM activities. So you guys have the link from your teachers for the STEAM activities. So could we put the link in the chat, Ms. Winstead, so they have it right away? And then, let's see. So yes, what'll happen next is we'll go straight into the STEAM activities. So everyone, you should have your swag bag, and in the swag bag is a plastic gallon-sized bag that has your material. So one, make sure you have an adult around. You need to be with an adult. And two, make sure you have your materials ready to go so you can interactively go along. So yes, we'll go into this link that I should put in the chat, and we'll see you guys in the STEAM activities room. Thanks again. See you in a few.
And when I connect them together, we've got light. Just like that. That's very cool, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to show you how to build that. One other thing I forgot to mention is you should have a white piece of paper. I need a white piece of paper. One of my assistants grabbed me one of the assistants at my engineering firm, please grab a piece of paper for me. Thank you. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do is start with this piece of paper and lay it flat on the table. Gotta get my angles right. So this is what we're going to build our circuit on. All right. So now that you have that flat on the paper, on a flat surface, excuse me. Now you want to go back to your aluminum foil, and we're going to fold the aluminum foil hot dog style. I got that right. So what that means, I got to get a hold of it first. Literally fold it in half, right down the middle, just like this. All right. So you should have it like this. And what we're going to do is open it back up, and we're going to rip the foil down that line that we just created so that we can have two even pieces. Be careful. You want to make sure you rip it slow so that the pieces are as even as possible. So now you should have two even pieces just like this. All right. And now with those two pieces, we're going to fold both of them in half hot dog style just to make sure that they're sturdy enough. And you can do it maybe 1 or 2 times. I'm going to do mine 2 times. All right. And I'm actually going to probably speed this up here. If you're falling behind, don't worry. If you messed up your foil, don't worry. I'm sure your parents have more. And again, the instructions are included in the kit. So even if you don't get through the entire thing with us today, we still have something. I mean, you're still able to use it, follow the instructions on the card, and do it later. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the two pieces of foil close together in parallel so that there's a small amount of white space in between them. And then we're going to use 1 piece of adhesive for each foil just to secure it to our piece of paper. So for those of you who got the stickers, you can just put the sticker at the top here. For those of you who have tape, you might have to bend the paper a little bit to be able to pry the tape off. All right. So now you should have a circuit that looks like this. We've got our conductive material, which is foil. It allows electrons to flow freely. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to grab our bag of LEDs, and we're going to dump those out and grab maybe 3 of them. You can do more in your own time when you build your own circuit, but just for the sake of time, we're going to use only 3 LEDs. Now, an LED stands for light emitting diode. And on the inside of this LED is a type of metal that when electrons hit it, it creates a glow or a light. Now, what you need to understand, though, is there's a positive side and a negative side of this LED. It's probably hard to see. My screen might be dark. Now, the positive side is the lead or the metal stem that is the longest. The negative side is the shorter lead. So what we want to do is we want to bend the positive lead just like that. And then we want to bend the negative lead just like that. So now both leads are no longer pointing down from the LED, but they're pointing to the side of the LED. And maybe
Mr. Menez, could you hold that in front of a white piece of paper so we can see a little bit better?
Okay. I'm going to
hold the light, what you're doing. Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. So make sure you keep track of what side is the positive side of the LED and which one's the negative. So we're just gonna lay that LED on the circuit, kind of like you see mine here. And maybe I can zoom in for you all. Would that help? And so what you want is for the positive side of the LED to touch one foil strip or one part of the circuit, and you want the negative side of the LED to touch the other part of the circuit. And just for reference, this will make sense later. I'm going to label my positive side here, and I'm going to label my negative side here. It's very important that we remember that. Electrons like to travel from positive to negative. And in order for the loop to work, we need all electrons to be flowing in the same direction. That's why we want to make sure that our LEDs or components on the circuit are all facing the same direction. So what we're going to do is tape that LED to the circuit. So some of you, again, have these sticky pieces of, some of you have stickers, the color stickers, and some of you have regular transparent tape. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that the LED, the positive lead, is touching one piece of foil and the negative lead is touching the other piece of foil. So what we want to do is do that 2 more times. So I will give you all a moment to do that. And again, if I'm going fast, don't worry. You'll have all the time in the world, the rest of this day, the rest of this week, the weekend, to play around with this stuff. What happens if the negative is where the positive is supposed to be? That's a good question. So again, if the negative is where the positive is supposed to be, so if there are components on a circuit that aren't facing the same direction, then the electrons run into each other instead of going in the same direction. So that means that the circuit will then fail. So again, I'm just bending my leads here of the LED to make them stick outward from the LED. And then I'm taping one lead to the positive side of the circuit, and it should be the positive lead. And then I'm going to take the negative lead and paste it on the negative side of the circuit. And in order to make it make more sense, imagine traffic going down a tunnel. That traffic has to go in the same direction, right? Because otherwise, if 2 buses were going in opposite directions, they could possibly hit each other and that would cause a collision. And then they won't make it to their destination. Electrons are the same way. They must all be flowing in the same direction. That is why we have to be very careful about what side of the circuit is positive and what side of the circuit is negative. So at this point, I'm going to keep moving along. Don't worry if you fall behind. We are going to put a place for our power source. In order to do that, we're going to bend both pieces of foil outward in an L shape, outward from the center of the paper. So just watch me do it. So I'm going to bend it outward here. And I created a nice L, and it's going away from the center of my paper. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Bend the L outward, bend the foil outward, so that it's going away from the center of my paper. If you need to pin me so you can see a bigger screen, go ahead and do that. And I see some with copper wire. Don't worry about the copper wire just yet. That is for another experiment. All we're using for this experiment is some type of adhesive like tape and LEDs and foil and a piece of paper. All right, so now that we have our L's, I'm going to take the end of each L and kind of fold it upward so that it's pointing from the paper into the sky, kind of like that. And then if all goes well and our experiment worked correctly and we configured our circuit correctly, then we should have electrons flowing in one direction and we should have power to the components on our circuit. So let's see if I'm good or bad at this. What you want to do here is you want to make sure that both batteries are facing the same direction. Remember what I said about the tunnel. We want electrons to flow in the same direction of the tunnel. We want one side of the circuit to touch one end of the battery, the first battery, and then we want the other side of the circuit, rolling away here, to touch the other side of the battery. And when we do that, let there be light. One of my LEDs isn't working. We have to troubleshoot that later. Maybe it's not receiving enough power. Maybe it's not attached to the conductive foil as good as it could be. The electrons are probably getting lost in the air. But you can see now we have a working circuit. I'm going to present some slides while I let you all continue to work through getting your circuits together. All right, so what we just built was a parallel circuit, and I'll be very brief here. But there are two types of circuits. One is serial. In a serial circuit, all the electricity flows through each component first, one after the other, and a switch is also a component of light, and then back into the power source. The problem with this is if one of the components on the circuit fails, then every component on the circuit does not work any longer. So that's why engineers came up with the idea or concept of parallel circuits, which is what we built. So if any of the LEDs on our circuit, or in this diagram, if any of the light bulbs don't work, then it doesn't matter. They don't depend on each other. The electricity flows from the battery, and just like in a piping system, this is water coming down the pipe, it will go down both ends of the track or both ends of the circuit, into and out of each component. It will combine back here later, and it will go through a third component, which is the switch. So this is how the light system works in your homes. This is how all your electronic devices receive power, and this is how all your electronic devices receive data. We will not go through the show and tell part today for the sake of time, but I do want to ask a quick question. Which of the following is the most conductive material? Remember, conductivity means a material allows electrons to move more freely. Chat. I want to see some answers to that. And I'm going to check the chat to see if everybody's got it. All right, we got one answer. Couple more. All right, everybody seems to get the point on this one. So rubber, plastic, and wood are not good conductors of electricity. As a matter of fact, rubber is used to insulate all the wires in your home so that the electricity is contained and doesn't get out. Now, this question is for the jackpot, and it should be kind of easy. But who's the first person for a prize that can put in the chat the name of the two types of circuits?
Serial.
Oh man, that must have been a tough one. All right. Well, it looks like we have a winner, and that winner is Anthony Poole from Bugg Elementary. Good job. Yes, there are parallel and there are series, or you can call it serial circuits. Awesome job, everybody. So this supposed to be a recap slide, but everything that has power around you and everything that uses data, your cell phones, your laptops, anything like that runs on circuitry. And we just learned how to build just that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer over to another partner at our firm who's going to show you how to harness the laws of electromagnetism to build a simple electric motor. And think about it, people. There are a lot of things that use electric motors. There are cars now. There are hair dryers, electric toothbrushes, etc. So it's important for you to understand how they work, and you're going to build your own. So I'm going to hand it over to Nafisa.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Did everyone enjoy that activity? It was awesome, right?
Let's see if we can get Nafisa unmuted.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear Nafisa.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jordan, I don't think you can hear me.
On this one, I have.
Jordan, can you hear others?
All right, sorry, having a little technical difficulties. Are you can we do a mic check, Nafisa? Sorry.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Okay, all right, now go ahead. All right, do you want me to continue presenting, or do you want me to stop presenting?
You can go ahead and continue to present. So,
Okay.
good morning, everyone. My name is Nafisa Baha. I hope you guys enjoyed the prior exercise with my partner, Jordan. Today, we're going to discuss the homopolar electric motor. Okay. What is a homopolar motor? In short, it's an electric motor. It's called homopolar motor because unlike conventional DC motors, the polarity of the magnetic field from the magnet does not change. So the name homopolar refers to the absence of polarity. The first ever homopolar motor of this type was built by Michael Faraday in 1821. That's a long time ago. Actually, 200 years if you really add it up. So let's talk about what happens when an electric current meets the force of a magnetic field. When the electricity moves through a magnet, a force called Lorentz force is generated as the electric current moves through the magnetic field coming from the magnet. Lorentz force is generated, which causes the wire to spin. It's easier to change the polarity of an electromagnet than it is a permanent magnet. So electromagnet can have its polarity switched by simply reversing the wires from the power supply. So as we saw in the presentation from Jordan a little bit earlier, if you don't have your wires aligned, it's not going to work. Now in our case, a permanent magnet, however, requires outside help to have its polarity change, which we'll see using a set of flat magnets and copper wire in our exercise. In this illustration, the blue circular motion is a force created by a magnetic field. The green circular motion creates a force of electrocurrent in a circular motion, causing a magnetic current. Together, the two forces create power that propels our copper wire into a spinning motion. A homopolar motor is the simplest DIY motor you can make. So this is going to be a pretty simple exercise, but you just need a few things to get it going. Pretty simple to construct, and we're going to introduce you to electricity, electromagnetism. So we're going to do this fun exercise using a battery, a magnet, and copper wire. Before we get started, I have a few warnings. Firstly, magnets are very hazardous if swallowed, and they must be surgically removed. No one wants to have surgery, right? So please keep them away from small children, pets, and anyone else who may put them in their mouths. Let go of the wire once it makes contact. So we're going to go through this exercise. Don't hold on to it once it starts to spin, because if you hold it, it'll short circuit. It generates a lot of heat, and we don't want your hands to burn. And lastly, magnets can interfere with electronic devices. So when we pull out these magnets, keep them away from any metal objects, along with your Game Boys, your cell phones, or any other electronics, so that it doesn't interfere with the functionality of your electronic. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I have a video here so that you can see exactly how it should spin. And Jordan's going to play that for me while I set up my workspace. Or maybe Jordan can't play the video. It's okay. I'll demonstrate it for you in the interim. Okay. I'm going to set this up so everyone can see my workspace. All right, guys. All right, so you guys are going to pull out your baggie. In your baggie, you should have your instruction sheet. you should see some stickers. You may have stickers or you may have tape. Either or will work fine for this demonstration. You should have some copper wire. Okay. And then lastly, there should be a paper towel there. Inside the paper towel, you're going to unravel it, and there are going to be magnets inside. Carefully unravel it so that your magnets don't fall out and hit the floor. And you need a battery. Okay, so there's a AAA battery in that pack as well. So I'll let you guys go ahead and take that out. While you're taking it out, I'm going to show you the spinning motion that I talked about. This is how it's ultimately going to look when you get it working. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take this copper wire here and ensure that the point to the copper wire touches on and it spins. Okay, so that's what we're shooting for here. Don't worry about if we don't finish it today or finish it during this exercise. I wanted to show you how it's ultimately going to look. You can take your time after we finish, work with your parents or your siblings to get it done. You have the instruction sheet. If you don't have me pinned, go ahead and pin me just so that you can see the presentation better on your screen. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm going to take out a copper wire. I have my magnets, as you can see. And I have my stickies. Use any color you like, or you're going to use some tape. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off one of these magnets. Just slide it off. Magnets are pretty strong, so takes a moment to slide it off, and we're just going to put that right there on your surface. Use any color sticker that you'd like. I'm going to use pink today. You're going to take the sticker and place it directly over the magnet. Okay. And then you're just going to kind of stick it down to your surface, the paper. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the other 3 magnets and you're going to put them right on top. Now, when you do this, you're going to realize that it's going to snap quickly. If you put it on the opposite end, it's not going to work. So, see that? That's it. All right. Next thing you're going to do is pull out your copper wire. It should be shaped in a V form. What I like to do here, and this takes a little practice, guys, so we may not have time to, get it perfect in the perfect shape, but we're going to give it a try. What I like to do is try to take the copper wire and wrap it around the magnet, okay? So you're going to wrap it one time. And then we're going to wrap it again. Okay, just like that. So we wrapped it around 2 times. Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to hold it down, hold the copper wire down, and I'm just going to pull the ends up, like so. Everyone with me so far? All right. All right. Now you're going to need your battery. So on your battery, you're going to look on the side of your battery and you're going to see a negative and a positive. You want the flat side or the negative side to go directly on top of the magnet. You want the positive side to be facing up and the pointy side. If you don't have it in the right direction, this isn't going to work, okay? So the moment I go to put this down, it's going to quickly snap onto the magnet. See that? All right, so we're almost there. Now this is the tricky part, guys. The tricky part to this is trying to spin or twist the top two pieces of the copper wire together so that we have a free-flowing current here. So as you can see here, I kind of formed a circular shape, and then I did a little peak going downward, and that's what I'm going to try to form. One of the things you want to make sure you're doing when you're putting them together is that one end needs to be a little bit higher than the other so that they don't get caught all into the battery. And I'll show you what that means. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to twist it. Be careful, guys. Don't poke yourselves. It can be a little sharp. Okay, so we don't want you to hurt yourselves. So I'm going to twist it. Okay, twist it again. Just like this. Now I'm going to hold the bottom and I'm going to flip it. Okay. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because you want to try to get a good shape or form going on here. Okay. Okay. And as you can see here, it's a little bit too loose, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, try to get it down. Let's see if we can get this thing spinning. This takes a little bit of practice, guys. See that? Sometimes you may have to push it a little bit, right, to get that current working, and then it'll continue to flow as you see. And that's basically it, right? So of course, if I keep playing with it, it'll continue to spin and spin and spin, and I want to get it a perfect shape. But in the interest of time, I won't do that. But as you can see, if you get it just right, it'll spin for you, okay? All right, so there we go. We'll keep playing with this one. But I know you guys are hungry, so I'm not going to hold you guys too long on this one. All right, guys. So again, follow your instruction sheet. This will tell you exactly how to do it. All right. Awesome. So now we're going to talk about what we just did. And you can unpin me because we're going to go back to the presentation. Okay, so the question is, how come the green one stops? You know, anytime you have an electric current, you have to continue to have the copper wire touching the magnets. The magnet needs to continue to get the charge to spin. Sometimes that slows down if it's not constantly in contact. The other reason I don't want it to keep spinning is because, as I talked about a little earlier, it'll get hot. And if it gets hot, it can short out your battery and it won't work at all. So keep that in mind as you're playing with this, that it can stop, and you want it to stop because it could short out your circuit and the flow will not work. So let's talk about what we just learned today. You built a homopolar motor. It's amazing, right? What you built uses direct current from the battery, and it powered rotational movement. That was the spinning that we saw. The energy from the battery traveled in one direction, from the bottom to the other end in a circular motion. The copper wire conducted electricity, and that was made into a shape that connected the two ends of the battery. That created that continuous flow, or a circular flow. When the current traveled through the copper wire back to the battery, that completed the circuit. So that little tip that we saw at the top, that created the electromagnetic circuit. So let's talk about some everyday examples that you may see. You may see an electric toothbrush, a hair dryer, oscillating fan, vacuum cleaner, even a Tesla. So Tesla are electric cars that we see on the streets every day, and they also use electromagnetic currents. All right, so guys, making this wireframe can be a little balance of spinning, and it takes some trial and error, as you could see. So once you get the basics, you can make frames of all shapes and sizes, right? So you can shape it into a heart, a rectangle. You could even do a dancing ballerina. All right. Did anyone create, was anyone able to create the homopolar motor and get it working yet? Okay. So what I'd like you guys to do is keep working on that experiment, right? So we're going to have some, well, you should have some show and tell, and you should be able to show your classmates. So do it, take a photo, show your classmates, and it'll be awesome. So here's the first question. What year was the first homopolar motor of this type built? We talked about it a little bit earlier. If you know the answer, put it in the chat. Cameron, you are right. 1821. Awesome. All right, guys. This is for fast fingers, okay? You win a prize. The first person who can tell me the name of the electric force when it moves through the magnetic field wins the prize. What is the name of the force when electricity moves through a magnetic field? I'm going to give you a hint. It begins with an L. Yes, Elizabeth. Lorentz force. Elizabeth, you have won the prize, so we are going to take down your name and we'll make sure you get that awesome prize. So thank you so much for paying attention, watching this presentation. Continue to work on it in your spare time, and I appreciate you guys this afternoon. Thank you and have a good day.
Awesome presentation, Nafisa. Thank you for showing us how to harness the power of physics and electricity and electromagnetism to create a motor. I do want to share the video. I got it working. So I'm going to share the video of Nafisa's motor in full effect. So give me 1 second. Let's see.
And guys, like I said, if we had just a tad bit more time here, we'd keep going and playing with it, but just keep working on your shapes and forms and it works just fine, okay?
Yep. And that is what engineering is all about as well. It's about trial and error. It's about doing it as many times as you can until you get it right. So let me share. Let's see. All right, they should all be able to see that now-ish. Okay, there it is. So great work, Nafisa.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, so now we are going to wrap things up. I just want you all to remember that every electronic device that you use, it works because of science, and it works because of electric circuits and properties in electromagnetism. So again, play around with those things, follow the instructions, make sure a parent is with you when you do it. And also, if you go to cbplivehistorymuseum.com, within the next day or so, we'll put up the videos so that you guys can try to follow along again and be your own innovators right from where you are. So at this point, we're going to transition to the close of the event. So we want you all to stick around for about maybe a minute or so, and we will be right back.
Alrighty, so we're just going to do a quick closing ceremony because we know that you guys are ready for lunch. So we're just going to recap what you all did today. First of all, let's give ourselves a virtual round of applause for having such an awesome day. You guys were so engaged. You learned so much, answered most of the questions correctly. So congratulations to everyone.
Good job.
Yes, great job. So today you had a chance to meet inventors, Black inventors and Black trailblazers, And we hope you were inspired to bring your own ideas to life. You learn after that how to build technology that runs through most of our world today. So how powerful is it that you were able to learn and participate in those things? We definitely want to shout out our prize winners today. We have a few prize winners, and so I'm going to shout them out, give them a congrats in the chat. We have Tyson, Zynique, Alex V, Anthony Poole, Elizabeth G, and Cameron Cheek. So give them some congrats, you guys.
Good job. Excellent.
So we will get in contact with your teachers to make sure to get your prizes. And just to give you a sneak peek, the list of prizes we have are an armed robot. So you might get an armed robot, a Raspberry Pi.
It's a computer.
Oh. And so, yeah, that's not like an actual Pi. That's like, can you explain that actually?
Oh, the Raspberry Pi is a small computer that you can use to write Python code, JavaScript code, and you can even use it to connect to circuit boards and light up different components like LEDs or power things like motors.
Thank you so much, Jordan. You might get a microscope, a coding robot, or a bubble robot. So let's give a hand for all of our winners once again. And we'll take care of getting those prizes out to your teachers. So let's use the chat, you guys. I want to hear, what is one word, just one word, what is one word that you would use to describe today? Let's hear from you guys. What is one word that you would use to describe today? Would you say adventurous? Would you say inspiring? What would you say?
While they're doing that, I can tell you, I'd say motivated.
Motivating, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about African-American and minorities in the past who've contributed like major things to society.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and they're living today actually. And that's what our keynote speaker talked about. And that is amazing because that makes me feel like, okay, it's not just something that happened years ago and something that we can't get back to, but like we can do this now and we can do this today. And there's every opportunity for us to go out there and do something to change the world and make it a better place and to innovate. So
yeah, that's a great word. I'm just going to check out our chat really quick. Fun. We have a whole bunch of people saying that it was fun, nice, phenomenal, fun, different, okay, encouraging. We're seeing a whole bunch of people had a great time and they're saying it's fun. Awesome. We're seeing awesome, future. That's a good word. Amazing, nice. Awesome. Engineer. That's one word to describe for today. Inspiring. So keep them coming, you guys. We really are glad to see you had an awesome time. Now I'll hand it over to Jordan to acknowledge our volunteers.
Yeah, definitely. Before I acknowledge our volunteers, I do want to say that we have a little system here at Cisco. And so all the volunteer hours that was put into making this event a success, we're able to convert those hours to dollars. And so we chose two nonprofits. One is called the DHIC, and I'm a proud board member of that nonprofit, and we build affordable housing all over Wake County. So thank you all, volunteers and everybody for participating, because what we're doing in this event is going to go to help DHIC continue to build affordable housing and make the world a better place. And then also the second nonprofit that we're donating our hours turned to money to is Loaves and Fishes Ministry. Loaves. Loaves and Fishes Ministries. And so we're just going to donate to them so they can continue to do great things. One of our volunteers, Miss India Williams, is actually a board member of that nonprofit. So I don't know if she's still on the call and if she wanted to say something brief about Loaves and Fishes Ministries.
Yes, Jordan, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your participation today. And yes, I would like to just, some people probably have heard of Loaves and Fishes because it is in the Southeast Raleigh area, serving students and families living in Southeast Raleigh. Prior to COVID, we were housed in Mount Peace Baptist Church, and we offer after-school support services for students, as well as services to support the whole family. So right now we are kind of working virtually, and we do have some in-person time that we do offer as well. So the money that we will receive will go to support the services that are offered throughout the school year as well as over the summer. So thank you again for selecting Loaves and Fishes Ministry as part of the recipient for the funds. Thank you so much.
No problem. And thank you for sharing your time with us. Hopefully, and I knew I was going to do that. I got the wrong tab. I'm going to share my screen because we can't let this day go by, and we're almost closing. I sound like a, never mind, I was going to say a preacher. We're coming to a close. Jeez. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm getting worse at using Google Meet.
One more time, one more time.
Do you think I'm going to get it this time?
One more time, I believe in you.
Oh my, there we go. Wow. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to thank all the volunteers at Cisco who helped plan and execute the logistics and everything behind the scenes to make this work. That's our Live History Museum committee. Aisha Chavis, Brian Thompson, Jaleesa Whitley, Maya Earl, Nafisa Baha, Patty Kamara, and Tova Mitchell. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you all for what you did.
Before you go, I have a joke.
Oh, we're not gonna tell jokes right now. We got some more things that we got to continue to go through. But I also want to thank Miss Kia Winstead of Bugg Elementary and the whole staff of Bugg Elementary, and also Miss Tamara Young of Southeast Raleigh Elementary, and your staff and your two wonderful principals for trusting us. We were kind of strangers, and we wanted to do this in the community. So thank you all for all the meeting time and giving us a space to be able to do this. And last but not least,
well, one thing, we did thank our inventors earlier, our inventor volunteers earlier, but we just want to reiterate that we couldn't make this possible without them as well. So you got their names earlier, but thank you once again.
And lastly, we want to thank the president of the Connected Black Professionals at Cisco in the RTP area, Amber Lashley. I don't know if you're on this call or if you're watching, but thank you for your leadership and helping guide us so that we can do great things in the community. And I believe, Amber, if you're on, you can share something. I'll give you like 5 seconds to unmute. If not, we're closed.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. This was awesome. Thank you, Jordan and Gabby and planning team. Thank you, Bugg Elementary. Thank you, Southeast Elementary. This was awesome. I hope you all enjoyed today. I can tell from the comments. Looking forward to working with you all in the future. Thank you.
All right. So look, you all have every opportunity. You have every, moment to seize the day, to use what you learned as inspiration, to keep you motivated, to be consistent with learning and growing and studying hard, learning science, math, physics, paying attention in all your classes, getting good grades, so that you too can be an innovator and that you too can be living history. So again, I'm Jordan. And
I'm Gabby.
Oh my God, it's almost done.
Appreciate you. And don't forget, cbplivehistorymuseum.com. If you fell behind on anything or want a recap of anything, we'll put things on that website and we'll send that information to your teachers to be sent out to you. You all have a great rest of the day and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Y'all are awesome.